Okay, round 3. Now, if you notice, every time I come on live, the thing look a little better because that's why we're doing it. We're doing it to learn to do it better, right? So, give thanks for the young people who know how to pull down the things on the screen and enhance and do the things. So now we're sitting here like a professional and we can talk to the people then, right? So my brothers and sisters, thank you for joining me. And there are a couple things that I will talk about. Couple more things, right? I promise I'm not going to make a habit of this, but a couple more things. One thing, right, I would talk about is the concept of luxury. What is luxury to you, right? What do you define as a luxurious thing in your life? Is it your purchases, your quote-unquote luxury items, your brand name items? Is it the time you get to spend with your family or being able to go to the beach in the middle of the week? What is luxury to you? Bless up everybody tuning in. And I'm going to reiterate this question as I explain to you my perspective of luxury. And I'll explain why I'm even bringing up this subject as well, right? What is luxury to you? Now, for me, I am a country girl. So, yes, inner peace and all these things, right? And I want you to be honest, because somebody I met recently wanted to give me a gift. And they asked a friend of mine what would be an appropriate gift. Now, bear in mind, that friend, who I love dearly, her perception of luxury is a particular Gucci bag. I don't remember what it's called. I don't know, like the candle Gucci bag, whatever, like can full or something like that. The idea is this bag is so big and so strong. And she's on about how big and strong it is and why it is a good gift, a few $1,000s and it's a nice bag. And I'm like, okay. If somebody gave that gift to me, I would not throw it in their face because I would think, oh, it's coming from a good place. Thank you very much. I would feel very self-conscious wearing a Gucci bag. I'm not going to lie. I would. A very large branded Gucci bag. It would be a bit out of character for me, but not unappreciated. But I thought to myself, that's not luxury for me. And when we talk about things like, courtship and gifts and giving things to people because you like them and you want to show what you like, and giving flowers or gifting them something that you think is precious, it's different for a lot of us. And, and I don't mean that to say that I look down on any of these things. It's just different for me. It's just different. And some of us, we grow with different values. So luxury means a different thing to some of us, to each of us. And for me, it's not that I don't like expensive things. It's just what we're going to spend it on. So I might find more use for a sauna being built in my backyard than a very pricey watch. I'm not going to say no to any gift depending on who it's coming from. And if it's something that I think is heartfelt, of course, but what do we think it is, And as I said, the opportunity to go to the beach in the middle of the week, the opportunity to come home and know that there is no drama in my house and I have a loving family that I can feel safe leaving my child with. That is a luxury to me. And being able to have a good relationship with my father, that was the most luxurious thing I ever had. The relationship with my father was the highest luxury. And I remember when I was in high school, because we're on the theme of high school tonight, I would just be on and on about my father. Everything was my father, my daddy, my daddy. And it wasn't very well appreciated by some of the other people in my class or, my friends at the time because they couldn't relate. And it's not of any particular class, because this goes right across the board, you know. Sometimes the fathers are just not there, and sometimes they're there and they might as well not be, because you don't get to spend any time with them, or you know. And sometimes those fathers are wealthy, and sometimes those fathers are broke pocket, and you know, whatever the case is. Or sometimes those fathers are just trying men. But what makes a difference is just, are you spending time with your daughter? How does she feel? What will she consider luxury to be based on how you treat her? What are you treating her like a princess? What does that mean to her? Are you giving her things, or are you spending time with her? Like, these are the things that are going to impact the woman she becomes, and the things that she values, and how she values herself. Yeah? So, what is luxury to you? And I'm waiting to see. Let me scroll and see what you all are saying. Your grandchildren, definitely. Definitely. Being able to have a relationship with another generation. So like the grandparent is a very important relationship. And to grow old and be valued by the young people is a luxury. To not be abandoned in your old age is a luxury you have to cultivate when you are younger and aging. Even if you don't have children of your own. Like being able to look back at life and know that there are young people who you have seen them grow, and not only do you love them, but they also love you, and they want to be around you, and they want to spend time with you, and they value your opinion, and you're in your 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s. That is luxury. And I think a luxurious thing for a man, not having to cook for my family and having someone else cook amazing vegan food for me. Amen. But, so, I think as a man, not that I'm a man, but, you know, as a man, I think what you should really look forward to in life is when you are older, being so beloved by your family, or the woman in your life, or your children, or even your friends, that if you should ever become ill, God forbid, people still want to take care of you. So I haven't shared much about what I've been through in the past year, because I don't want to really use this platform for sympathy, you know. I don't really need that, because I had an amazing experience with the most awesome man I have ever met in my father, and he passed away recently. And yes, grief is real, and grief is a place you can live. You really have to do that work. But my father left such an incredible legacy for us, and built such an amazing family, and really gave us an identity, you know. And because of that, the grief is punctuated, you know, with moments of deep gratitude. Because not only was it a luxury to have a father like that, but for a man like that, even when he was sick and bedridden in his last days and could barely speak and was so thin, I watched my mother with pride deal and take care of her husband. And I watched how the people that he knew when he was, you know, growing up, and as he went through his ministry and, you know, shared and served in different communities around the island. And I watched how, in the end, when everyone came to pay their respects, no one looked at him with anything less than, you know, the highest honor. And to me, standing back and looking at that, it was a profound thing. Because I know that there are men that I know who, they may be having a great time right now with life, going through feeling very special and dealing with people however they want to. But when they are in their 70s and 80s, and if anything should happen to them, God forbid, there will be no one there to wipe them up. They may end up dead in their house and swell up for weeks before anybody find them. Sad to say. But really and truly, the quality of life, how you deal with people, and especially loving a good woman and loving a woman well. When you need her, she will be there, and she will treat you like a king, even when you are weak and on your back. And in my mind, that is luxury. That is what I will teach my son. you know, to make sure that the way you are treating womankind is so upful that even when you are on your back or on your face and life is dealing with you wicked, yeah, or even if you are wealthy and you lose everything, you will still be respected because of your character and how you have treated people and how you have made people feel. So it really is a luxury to do the work and see the result. What else is luxury? There are many other contexts you can consider luxury in. You can consider luxury in the context of opportunities. So you are born into a family that has it all financially. It might be a luxury to be born into that situation. It frees you up from certain things, but it is also a limitation in other ways, because when you have too much material wealth, you end up oftentimes lacking in spiritual wellness, because you don't have certain struggles, so you don't get certain fortification. You don't get the requisite pressure that it takes to turn a lump of coal into a diamond. You have to push to do it, you know. And for some people, they look at, oh, you're born, you have your mother and your father and whatever, so this is an advantage and this is a luxury too, for sure. But health is the biggest flex. To be able to age well, to be able to have all your teeth, these are luxurious things too. Yeah. The ability to be able to drop down to your knees, pick things up, dance with the young people, you know, like when in African day, oh, hey, you know what I mean? That's where the dancing really happens. And to be able to match strength with them, to be an old man in your 50s, big up to my close virgins. I have some virgins well into their 50s who are ripped and cut up and shredded and, you know, physically really outperforming some of the young men. And that is a luxury too. And where they may be failing in other aspects, them have that luxury in other aspects too, you know. So there's always something in your life you can look at. And I think to be grateful for something, to be able to find something to be grateful for, to have a mind that can look at your situation and always pivot to something that you can be grateful for, is also a luxury. So to have a sound mind is a luxury, because some minds are so poisoned that they are not even able to be grateful. They are not even able to pause and just give thanks. Even when everything is going well for them, the moment one thing happens, that is able to shift their whole energy. And all of a sudden, the world is so unfair. Yeah? You have your 2 foot them and your 2 hand them, and your stomach all right, and your head all right, and you have all your faculties and all of the same capacity and potential. But this didn't go well, so all of a sudden, woe is me. And we're so fragile, and oh my gosh. We have to get our minds stronger, because in strengthening our minds, we strengthen and fortify our potential. You get me? And sometimes that healthy mind, or rather all the time, that healthy mind comes from a healthy gut. To watch what you're eating, how you're hydrating, how you are balancing your food intake. And that is the way that things get into your body, you know, with the choices you make with what you eat. And observing yourself through your breath, through your, you know, your habits, through your bowel movements even. Am I okay? Yeah? Am I constipated? Because constipation affects your mind too. So you see some people out there, and I say this all the time, some of these people out there with these bad attitudes, if you check it, weeks pass before them get a proper movement. And yeah, that's kind of gross to be talking about. But hey, we are grown people, and this is what we have to talk about. Because those are the things that are going to make an impact on the quality of life you have in the future. Yeah. So luxury, yeah, let me go on and see what anybody else says, because big up Dara Michelle, all my long time Jan friends. Yeah man, health is wealth. Gratitude. Yes, absolutely. So, luxury. A conversation to be continued. Yes. Another thing that I would want to talk about, and this might be the final thing, is a project that I started a few years ago. And that project took me into the space of NFTs and cryptocurrency. You remember in 2020 when that was the conversation everybody was having, cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and all of these things and NFTs and the future and decentralizing everything and moving away from fiat currency and all of these things. And that was an interesting round of conversation in the space. And all the arguments, if you are I don't know how many of you are interested in those kinds of things, you know, finance and economics really. But the world is shifting very rapidly. Things are shifting literally under our feet, because what is happening is not in the public domain of news, but it is very much happening and has been happening. And the people who are in control of these things, the banks and, you know, leaders in the financial sector in the States and in Europe and in Japan and in all of these powerful spaces, they are doing the work of organizing for the next round of what we, the masses, will experience as our economic system. Now, I am no expert at all, but one thing I did learn during that time was the idea of an NFT. At the time, it was all about monkeys and robots and pixels and art. But beyond that, what the fundamental thing about an NFT, a non-fungible token, right, is basically that it was a unique thing, a one-of-a-kind thing that you were able to track, and it was transparent, and you could tell where it has been, where it was created, and I mean, the only thing is that it exists in the digital space. So if the lights go out all over the world, then it won't be there. You can't eat it, right? You can't touch it. But as long as we exist in this world where the internet and the new versions of internet and Web3 and all of these things, and wherever it is headed, and artificial intelligence and all of these things that can be quite intimidating to some, but are an inevitability to others, in this space, the idea of a non-fungible token, a contract that says this thing exists, this is the original one of it, and you are sure about what you're getting here. Regardless of how the value might shift, that is the principle of a non-fungible token. Separate from paper money, where all of these particular, the ones that look like this, all of them, they're valued at the same thing. So if you have one, that's what it means. With an NFT, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, these are very layman terms, right? But the idea is, this is a unique thing. And you might have seen me post about Dr. Green, right? A very interesting icon with the skull, the melting skull. But the skull is a very important symbol, right? Don't be scared and frightened about it. These are ancient things. But that particular program is very interesting. And when they approached me, I thought, okay, you want to now tie cannabis, marijuana, ganja, these things. I don't even know if I can say all of this on live and nobody will take up. But you want to tie the green, the herb, to the digital space. And that for me was very interesting. And I thought, how are you going to do this? How would you achieve this? And the gentleman responsible for it was kind enough to fully explain to me the principle behind this. And I wanted to share it with you. And I'll share more about it as time goes by and as you see the offering evolve. But the point of it is, now when we live in this world where herb has been demonized for so long by the economic powers, regardless of how powerful it is. It has been demonized so much. And now that the world is changing, a lot of people who didn't have access to herb because of the stigma attached to it are now able to freely get their hands on it. Yes, but you can't always guarantee the quality that you're getting. These people, Dr. Green, this company have found a way to guarantee that the herb that you're going to get is organic and is of the highest quality and is delivered to you. And not only that you can be sure that the herb that you are supposed to get is the herb that comes in the package. Now for me, I am like, okay, how do you do that? How can you guarantee? Because they have a thing, is what they call it, fizzing. I don't know, I don't remember the term. But the idea is you don't know what you're getting. Lots of people, they're in these dispensaries and so on, they can give you a product, put it in a bag, say that this is what you're getting, and there's no way to tell. And with the herb industry now, especially because a lot of times herbs are mixed with other narcotics because of the trade that they go through. And a lot of times because it is a money-making commercial thing, the quality control is sometimes not at the standard that would ensure that you are getting what you pay for. And these people have presented a solution to that. And it has to do with understanding the genetics of the buds that you're getting and the genetic sequence, and literally using encryption of herb. Let me explain. So each of these plants have a genetic sequence, and within encryption it also relies on a sequence of numbers. And so when you now replace this genetic sequence and use this as the identifier, right? And Mr. Capone, when he comes around and when we talk in more detail, he'll explain this in greater detail. But in essence, you are using the identifying feature of the herb as the very means by which the NFT is encrypted. So that for you to import this or to get the herb shipped to you, and when it comes in the package, on that package there will be a QR code. And that QR code, when you scan it and you test the herb that you get to see that genetic sequence, you will literally be able to see that the same sequence is what is encoded on the package. So it cuts out that possibility that somebody could put the wrong thing in your package. Why is this important? Again, you have to get the right herb. If you are going to use your herb for medicine, it is crucial that you know the quality of the herb you are using. Otherwise, anybody can give you anything, and you might have the best of intentions of what you want to do with it, and it still affects you in an adverse way. So quality control is crucial. And because we champion quality control, this is why an opportunity like this would come our way. And I am being given also the opportunity to sit with these people and create strains that are specific, yes, in what it is they are going to be able to do for you. Meaning a higher THC level. And yes, you are up changing the genetics, but this is something that is being done. Whether or not you like it, like they're creating new strains all the time. This is how it goes. The fact that you are able to do it in nature means it is a natural thing. You know, the ability to make something better in nature. You're not splicing it with something else, but you are interacting with it in this way. And again, I am not a professional, and I'm going to get these people on board to go into great detail talking about this more, efficiently than I am. But the point I am making here is that it is so crucial to know where your herb is coming from. And in my mind, it is a luxury to be able to guarantee the quality of herb you're getting. Now, obviously, I can't get that herb here in Jamaica. And so there are probably 2 places that I get my herb from here in Jamaica, right? And those sources, I 100% trust them. I see the herb growing. I know the doctors who are growing that herb. And I feel very safe when I put it in my steam chalice and I use it for my brain. Or when oil is made from it and I can give it to my elders and say, this is going to help with your appetite. This is going to help with your glaucoma. This is going to help with your cancer. And I bring this conversation full circle around now to say why herb is so crucial. Herb has been a healing element in my life for decades. I got involved with herb in a real way because I grew up asthmatic and with a chronic bronchitis and rhinitis and all of those sinus issues. All of those issues that many of us from that generation have. Yeah? And I remember it was because of herb why I was able to move out of that space of constantly having this recurring asthmatic episode, you know, visiting me. Anytime I go into a stressful situation or anytime anything comes into my nose or my lungs that triggers it, there's so many different triggers and there's so many different theories on what asthma actually is. But what is true is that the herb is definitely something that has a positive impact on, you know, getting rid of it out of your body. And as my father was going through some of the harder times in his journey with cancer, it was the oil that was made from the herb that made such a difference in that journey in terms of opening his appetite, in terms of decreasing his pain. And he was diagnosed at stage 4 in 2020. And he stayed with us for 4 extra years because he was able to manage the symptoms and the aggressiveness of, you know, that terrible thing by using herb and avoiding, you know, more harsh and evasive things like chemotherapy because he was using a herb. But in the end, he didn't want to stay in his weak body anymore. And he chose to leave and serve us in the next realm. So, big up my father. Anyway, daddy. But yes, I've been on for a while and I really just wanted to come on here and practice my talking to people, you know, skills here on the live and share things that are important to me. Things like luxury. Feeling like I have a luxurious life is very important to me. Defining luxury is also very important because context matters, right? So I share with you what I consider that to be, and I hope that for you, you are finding true luxury in your life and feeling that feeling of value for the life you've gotten to live, and gratitude, and cultivating things in your life and habits and in the way that you deal with people, so that when it is you are older, you can have that kind of beautiful relationship with your children, with your grandchildren, with young people, you know, where they value you and what you say, because along the way you have proven yourself to be valuable, to be upright, to be of a particular character. And hopefully you don't lock up in a house and swell up for weeks before people find your body, because nobody don't care about you because you never care about people, right? These are the facts of life. So yes, enough respect to you all, and stay tuned for more information about Dr. Green. For those of you around the world who are in countries where herb is legal and you can, you know, get on your phone or your computer and order herb to be shipped to you, I am about to give you a big opportunity right now to get some quality herb that you can put in your chalice, steam and feel good. And I mean, if you want to smoke, at least make sure you're smoking something that is not going to be laced with extra toxins, right? Separate from the combustion that, you know, we don't really want anything burning in the lungs. But definitely quality matters. So big up Dr. Green and the whole Dr. Green team for doing this incredible thing, because this is a revolutionary thing. This has never been done before. But quality control, turn up right now. This scheme is very turn up for quality control in Herb right now. So yes, my brothers and sisters, I hope you have been informed. I hope you have been entertained. I hope you didn't mind long talking. And please share with me the things that you found useful from this conversation. Share with me the topics you'd like to hear me go off the dome about. And let's keep this conversation going. We're going to formalize it, but you see, before we do that, I'm just trying to make sure that you know that I am here. I am here for you. We are about to really build this community of people who want to have real conversations, want to connect for real, and want to talk about some positive things. And of course, there is new music coming in November. Oh my gosh. So for those of you who are like, oh my gosh, chat so much, where is the music? Aren't you a singer? Why can't we hear some new music? I feel you also, and I agree. And the new music is coming. They have flown the gate. I am about to drop a single that is very dear to my heart, very dear to my heart. Because creatively, I want to use this to start the conversation with my sisters in particular, right? And you'll see what I mean when the time comes. So in the meantime, enough love, enough blessings. Stay in touch. Respect.